Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. Okay, everybody out in the audience, raise your hand if you know the coolest little place on Main Street in Springfield that's been here forever. I am at Pappy's place, and I'm out in the courtyard where they do live music with the relatively new owners of Pappy's, Landon and Stephanie Campbell. How's it going, you guys? You know, this place means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the neighborhood. How's it going?
It's been going great so far. Since we've been here, we've been welcomed warmly, and I appreciate everybody's support so far.
Pappy's has been around a lot longer than any of us have. And at what point did Pappy's come up on your radar? Because a woman named Susan and Wayne Rader owned it previous to you. Wayne unfortunately passed away very suddenly, and Susan ran it by herself for a long time and decided it was time to turn it over to someone else. What made Pappy's pop up on your radar?
We have a couple other properties, and what we always wanted was a bar and grill, something we could do outdoor music from. So this hit all the bases when it came up. So when we saw it available, we thought it was an opportunity that we couldn't miss.
So you say you have a couple of other properties, but not a restaurant. So now it takes a special person to say, oh, what the heck, let's just continue a restaurant, although it did have quite the track record when you got here. But was that a little bit of a, oh my gosh, are we ready for this?
Well, originally, looking into it, this had actually enough of a backing that I felt more comfortable taking it on. Mm-hmm. Originally, if we would have started something ground up, I think I would have been a lot more fearful of being able to get a base going. But this already had a very substantial base for a long time, so it felt a lot more at ease to get into the endeavor and have a lot of people to help support us with it.
Talk a little bit about the history of this building, because this business has been around here for like 100 years plus, correct?
Yeah, it was actually originally the building was built in 1903. It was a grocery store. The original owners had the adjoining house. It was built in the late 1800s, and in 1926, I think to meet the needs of the community, they changed it into a cafe. Shortly after Prohibition ended, it was the first liquor by drink license. And then in 1971, it was purchased and became actually Pappy's Place, and it's been Pappy's Place ever since then.
You know, I just met a guy sitting up at the bar who comes in a lot, and he told me his dad brought him in here in around 1971, and he remembers it as a kid, and this guy is still coming here. So that's the kind of built-in audience or consumer base that you have, which is just such a cool thing.
Yeah, there's, he's one of many. He does come in about every day, sometimes several times a day, and we get to see him and a lot of other faces that have always been in the community, have always come here since they were kids. There's a few people that come in even before it's Pappy's Place. I've had a few people tell me about other cafes and other names that went by before that when they were younger.
Well, if you look at the pictures on the wall, if there was a store back in the day, and you see some pictures it's kind of surreal to look at those, don't you think? And you look around the building and you go, that was right over there back in the day. I mean, all those years ago.
Yeah, and even in some of the pictures you have cars that are from the 30s and maybe even late 20s. Then it gives you the perspective of how long this has been here and how long people have driven by and seen it.
Okay, I want to talk about the food and all the things that you've done new. And Stephanie, I want to involve you too. I'm certain you enjoyed the food and you enjoyed coming to Pappy's before. But what was it that attracted you to this place?
Well, I've always liked cooking barbecue at home. I've been doing it for a really long time. So just being a barbecue restaurant was intriguing. I love smoking meat.
Is there anything that I know you wanted to kind of continue that tradition. Is there anything you looked at the menu and kind of thought, I'd like to bring something new to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we picked Landon's two favorite sandwiches, the Cuban and the Reuban, and we put those on the menu, and they're huge sellers. Huge sellers.
Okay, I'll be the first to say I didn't know you had a Cuban. I knew you had a Reuban, but I didn't know you had a Cuban. So is that the kind of thing, do you think, that the old school customers who've been coming here for years, are they kind of digging the new things? Did they give you suggestions?
At first, I was scared to change anything because it had just been the same for so long, but we've changed stuff slowly. Everybody has accepted everything that we've done and like it.
I saw something on your menu that drew me in here one day. It was the patty melt. Who came up with that idea? Was that a popular addition?
That was another one of those things that we a lot of times will order anytime we go somewhere. We like to have a good patty melt, so I wanted to have a good patty melt available here. I mean, barbecue's one thing that was always known for having great hamburgers here. Everybody always loved the hamburgers here, so we just took that great, patty concept and made other sandwiches out of it. The Reuban always went over pretty well here, but it was made differently. We decided to change it to something a little more traditional, and then we added a Reuban burger as well to make a Reuban basically on top of a burger to make its own sandwich, which is pretty colossal in size.
The photos on your social media really do help. I've seen the smoked meatloaf, loaded baked potato, things like the hot brisket melt. So keep up the good work and the good photos. So let's talk about the live music aspect of Pappy's, because right now we are sitting out on this beautiful patio on a beautiful day, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've got about 10 tables out here, plus a little bit of a covered bar area. How's it going over with the music?
Well, we started doing music when it was first available weather-wise, which was probably March to April, somewhere in there we started for this year. And we've done every Friday that was available the entire year. We had a couple of holiday weekends, and we had one rained-out weekend that we didn't have music outside. Otherwise, we've had it every Friday since, I believe, about the end of March. Originally, we had talked about, buying this place as being a music venue. I played music for a number of years, so I thought this would be a fun opportunity for me to get involved with other bands and even play music here a little bit myself. And so after the course of the entire year, last Friday, for the first time, I actually played here as well.
Did you now? I didn't realize that. When are you going to do that again?
We'll probably, since the season's kind of winding down outside, it'll probably be spring again. I'll probably play again sometime in the spring.
Do you ever do music inside? Because I have been here when they've done music inside. It's not the roomiest place in the world, but they made it work. Have you done that?
Yeah, we've had a couple of times, especially when it was raining, where we've done it this year. We're going to continue through winter to book bands as well. We'll probably have it down to smaller size bands, singles, solo artists, duos maybe. But we'll probably still do music all through winter as well. And then we'll start back up in the courtyard, kind of early in the spring.
Well, the courtyard at a time like this is just fantastic. It just feels so good. There's a nice breeze, but you still feel like you have some privacy around you because, there's kind of a wall around the outside. It's just a cool spot. What are some of the bands that have played here?
Nathan Bryce, Loaded Dice has been here. We've had Sister Lucille Band has been here a few times this year. Papa Green Shoes has been here a couple of times. Had a number of other local artists, solo artists like Art Bentley. I've had Justin Larkin has been here a couple of times as well. So lots of great local talent. And we've still got more still to come. And like I said, I hope to expand that and do more even next year.
So is Facebook and social media kind of the place that people should go to look to see what's coming up? I would imagine, like who you've got on the bill this Friday or that Friday?
Yeah, I actually put events on our Facebook page. So you can just go to Pappy's Place on Facebook and look us up. We usually put any kind of events that are happening for the week or even a couple of weeks in advance. Sometimes we even have music on Saturday afternoons. We do open mic night on Wednesdays as well. Trent Pruitt is a local artist that comes out and puts that on, and he plays here occasionally as well. So we have a lot of different events, and through winter we may actually pop up with some new events, maybe some trivia, maybe some bingo, maybe some other things. So we're going to keep the events going all year.
And then we have karaoke on Saturdays. That's probably done for the year, but...
Okay. I've been here for Trent Pruitt, and maybe it was open mic night. It runs in my mind that I saw a few people when I was here last, which is really good. So you've got all the great smoked meats. You know, a lot of people come to Pappy's and they want the barbecue. I'm a big fan of the burger. I always have been. I love your nachos. One thing that's kind of sort of new, you've got the full bar in there, which is great. Tell me about, I saw something on the wall about a happy hour. Is that something you've always done? I'll be honest to tell you, I don't remember there being an official happy hour.
No, we just actually started that recently. The full bar was developed by the previous owners. They actually got the full liquor license outside of just beer. But that was one of the reasons that we have thought this would be a good endeavor. I have always wanted to have, a full functioning bar as well, and we've got a variety of new bartenders as well that's been helping us and making that successful. So then our happy hour we've only developed in the last couple of weeks. So we've got a few different beers, 14-ounce drafts that are available from 2 to 4 every afternoon for only $2.
That's a deal right there. And you know what else is fun about Pappy's? Sometimes when I've driven up, to have lunch, even a late lunch, there are people in there, middle of the afternoon, late afternoon, either having lunch or maybe they just stop by to have a cup of coffee or have a beer, hang out with their buddy. There's just, you never know. You might drive up and see a Jaguar parked out front. There's just a built-in client base, and you make a lot of friends here, right?
Yeah. A lot of people, like I said, come in and introduce themselves and want to know who the new owners are, want to develop a relationship with us. We like to develop new relationships with all of them as well. And like I said, they're what's supporting us here, and they keep furthering this business, and we welcome it and appreciate it so much.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Have you had people come through the door that told you something you didn't know about the building or the history of the neighborhood?
Well, I've had I've had a few people come in to tell me some of the incidents that have happened that they've seen, like many years ago. It's been several decades ago. There's a place in the ceiling where people point to and say, "I was here when a squirrel fell out of the ceiling." And so then that was all corrected, fixed up and everything. But it's like there's people that's been here, and it was 15, 20 years ago, and they're just like, I was sitting here when that happened, and it's kind of monumental, I guess, in their mind of when something like that takes place, and it's something that has to be brought up to us, because without people telling us these stories, we don't have any frame of reference to ever see whatever happened. Or it's the same with pictures on the wall. People come in and say, I used to have a picture right there on the wall. Whatever happened to that picture? And it's something that happened before us, I guess. Pictures come and go, and sure, memorabilia comes and goes, and all we can do is work with what we've got when we got here. So
what about the rugby connection in there? There are jerseys, and there's quite the history of people. I was in here one day, and a whole group of, like a rugby team from Ireland or something, comes in the middle of the afternoon. It just kills me. What's that all about?
Well, it has a huge background here. John Moore was one of the former owners. He owned it in the early 80s through the late 80s, and he was a coach and a mentor, and developed a lot of the rugby team here in Springfield. And he owned this for about 9-10 years, and this was almost basically a rugby bar in the 80s. And a lot of those same people come in. John Moore himself, he still comes in almost once a week and eats and says hi, and and tells me a little bit about stuff, and tells me if he needs me to, he'll wash dishes, and and so we still have all that rugby presence on the wall there. So rugby fans should come by and see where all that originated.
It is interesting because it it's not every day that you come into a place in the middle of Springfield and you hear accents from somewhere far, far away, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're super excited, and you think, okay, now how did you find Pappy's place? Oh, they've been coming to Pappy's place for years, What a story. Now, you mentioned people looking up at the ceiling in Pappy's. It's an interesting decor. You can tell over the years it's kind of built upon itself. There are dollar bills all over the ceiling, some of which have been there for decades, dare I say generations. Tell me the backstory on the dollar bills all over the ceiling.
So the original dollar bills do seem very dated. I was told at one point, someone said that they were varnished at one time to try to preserve them. When in the older days too, we didn't have quite the ventilation practices or non-smoking practices indoors as well, so I think that has discolored and showed the age of a lot of the stuff on the inside too. But those original dollar bills, from what I've been told, were the original day's take, I think, when it became Pappy's place. So it's $8 to $12 or something there, and so people have just followed suit, seeing that up there, and they'll sign dollar bills. We'll put them up on the ceiling and everything, and I tell everybody that's my retirement.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well then you might want to stick around a little bit longer. Yeah. But my dad. My dad passed away in 2016, and I'll be honest, I don't remember our first trip to Pappy's, but what I do remember was how this was literally the only place in town my dad wanted to go after that. He could not get enough, and we would spring him out of the nursing home and bring him over here for what he called his noontime beer. And at 90-something, by gosh and by golly, you've earned, as a World War II veteran, a noontime beer, along with your burger or your barbecue. He would look at that ceiling and look at those walls and say, man, if these walls could talk, what a history. And it was just his favorite place. And my kids would come in. We'd all come in on a Saturday afternoon, and they'd sit on the little bar stools, and they'd eat their burger and chat with people, and everybody's always been so great. So it means a lot to me here, and I love seeing it evolve. One thing about it, and there's a little bit of an homage to this, Hacker Day. There's Hacker Day. In fact, the man I was just talking to inside mentioned he's been coming here for Hacker Day. What is Hacker Day?
So, Jim Hacker was a war veteran, came in every day from what I've been told, for decades and decades. Always sat at the bar. I came in every day and had beer, and everyone knew him from that time that people were coming in. He actually was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he was given a short amount of time, I think, for the rest of his life. And so what Hacker Days symbolizes is that every year that he was still with us here and was able to come in, they celebrate that as basically a holiday every year. So he was given 6 months to live, and he lived, I believe, another 12 years. And so they celebrate that every year on December 23rd to mark all the years that he was available to still be here and come in every day and sit at the bar.
Okay, I've not been to Hacker Day. I'm assuming that, is everyone invited? Can I come to Hacker Day?
You sure can.
Do you do anything special on Hacker Day, or did he have was he a beer guy, or do you make up a cocktail, or do you just have the good old Pappy's menu as usual?
I'm not real sure what we're going to do this year. I don't know what they've done in the past. Sometimes they bring everybody a pin in or a cup, a special mug or something. But
Okay.
We'll just figure it out closer to time, but...
Well, it took on a life of its own because, and so did he. Apparently, he had quite the impression on people. But I've always heard about Hacker Day, but I've never been to it. But a lot of people listening to this right now, I'm sure, know exactly all about Hacker Day. All right, so you got the great food, you've got the full bar, you've got the live music. Anything new coming up?
Well, I hope the future will hold maybe a little more expansion. We'd like to do a little more remodeling. Just try to develop the clientele, try to give people what they would like to get new people in. it's been great the years and years that people have kept coming in and kept, promoting this, with the history that it's had. But we really just need new people to see it. We need new people to love it and want them to develop their own years of coming in and enjoying what they've found here as well.
And by the way, if you do want to show up on Hacker Day, December 23rd, there is going to be live music on that particular day, so that'll be a lot of fun. Another thing to look forward to, the Pappy Wagon, a food truck, so you can get your Pappies if you're not at Pappy's. And it's like a little Cheers in the middle of the city. And I know people that say, I've heard of Pappy's, but I've never been there. Well, here's your opportunity to come and see it. Come and visit with the new owners, relatively new owners, Landon and Stephanie Campbell. Thank you so much for your time and for keeping this legendary little hotspot open. We appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.